Good morning, good morning, good morning, Haven. Good morning to all you online. It's good to see you. Good morning, everyone on this side. We're going to begin with a song of worship and then go into our regular stuff. Here we go. Whoa. Say yes? Yes. Okay. Yeah.
God, above all space and time, transcendent one in glory. You stoop down to rescue broken dreams, crafting fragments into story. So call my name, I know I am yours alone. You have won my heart through love's grandest quest. So I say yes to all you are, to all you've been and all you'll be. I say yes to all you've done and all you want to do in me. I say yes to every dream. I say yes to every call. Lord, I want it all. Everything you have for me. Lord, I want it all. Oh God, lover of the world, redeemer of creation. You draw forth into your family divine, children from every tribe and nation. So call my name, I know I am yours alone. You have won my heart through love's grandest quest. So I say yes to all you are, to all you've been and all you'll be. I say yes to all you've done and all you want to do in me. I say yes to every dream. I say yes to every call. And Lord, I want it all. Everything you have for me, Lord, I want it all. And I will lay down my rights. I will lay down my taste. I will lay down my plans. I will take up your ways. So call my name, I know I am yours alone. You have won my heart through love's grandest quest. So I say yes to all you are, to all you've been and all you'll be. I say yes to all you've done and all you want to do in me. I say yes to every dream. I say yes to every call. Lord, I want it all. Everything you have for me, Lord, I want it all. And Lord, I want it all. Everything you have for me, Lord, I want it all. Amen.
Josh, I think you have, welcome.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Josh, and on behalf of Haven, I want to welcome you today to our Sunday service. I'm just going to pick it up. It's just Okay. Um, our mission here at Haven Berkeley is to create a safe place for all kinds of people to grow in meaningful connection with others and with God. We hope you'll experience some of that while you're with us here today. As we gather here in person, we will continue to be mindful of one another's needs of worship together in a safe, diverse, Jesus-centered space. We ask everyone to keep their masks on during the gathering, other than those who are presenting to the group. We also continue to film our gatherings right here. Welcome to all who are on Zoom. We will do our best to respect everyone's privacy and focus on the speakers, the singers, and not the crowd. Our tech experts, Joanna and Mathen, today will include all of you who are tuned in by way of sharing the slides and facilitating discussions. Our gatherings will be recorded in Zoom and uploaded to YouTube after the service, and will only include videos of those presenting to the group. Also, if you are in the in-person gathering and would like to join the Zoom on your phone, you're welcome to interact through chat with those who are there. It might make those folks feel more welcome and included in the space. You can find the meeting ID and password on your handout. Just make sure that you do not join the audio unless you're using headphones, so we don't get any feedback today. We're going to move on to a few different announcements, and we've got a few here, and then we will also open it up to everyone else. So if everyone does have an announcement in the crowd, start to think about what that announcement might be. But I'm going to jump into a few different templated ones that we've got from our church ourselves. So the first is we're going to have a backyard dinner at the Martens this Saturday, August 13th. Got a bit of a round of applause there. This month, in lieu of our Connection Sunday activity, the Martens family will be inviting us and the Haven community and any other friends that would like to join to a Saturday evening gathering at their Berkeley home next Saturday. As Leah returns from sabbatical, which she's had most of the summer, and we all missed her very much, the Martens are going to revive an old tradition of hosting a second Saturday gathering for friends and community members. Come by anytime after 5 p.m. You can stay with them and all of us as long as you'd like. Jason, Leah's husband, will be serving slices of homemade pizza from his backyard oven. And we welcome you to bring a dish, a snack, or a beverage to share. And you can contact Leah, if you want to raise your hand, Leah, for any more info. The second announcement for today is Oakland Pride is Saturday, September 4th. Sunday, September 4th. Thank you. We have recently heard that this year's Oakland Pride and Parade has been moved to Sunday, September 4th, Labor Day weekend. If you are in town, we hope that you will join us to celebrate our LGBTQ community members and friends in lieu of a Sunday service on that exact day. So if you're interested in joining Zoom this week to help plan that for this Haven's participation, contact Leah as well. So we do this every time we have a gathering. We like to open it up for community announcements. So if anyone would like to share any community announcements, you're welcome to jump up here if you're in person. Or if you're virtual, you can reach out over the chat and tell Joe or Mathen what your announcement might be. So, any announcements?
Hi, I'm back. And as a fellow Martens, I feel like I kind of run this place. I'm back and I bleached my hair. I hope you like it, because I like it. And actually, I don't really care if you like it, because if I like it, it doesn't really affect me. So I hope you're doing good, and I'll see you later. I run this place.
Thank you, Gwen.
Is this one on?
Yeah.
Just want to let you know, this afternoon after the gathering, we're doing a pizza lunch for everyone to help celebrate Leah's return. So please stay for lunch.
Outside, Jeannie? Outside. Right outside, okay. We have virtual pizza too? Some? No, not this time. Okay.
Is this on?
Yeah.
Just real quickly at camp, the camp last weekend, somebody left a black hoodie, extra large Russell. So if it belongs to any one of you that were there last weekend, please contact me or Jeannie.
More Martens. Come on up. Come on up.
Gwen does not run anything.
That's Gwen's sister, Junia, for those that might not know. Any other announcements this morning? Any virtual? No? Okay. The third Martens? No? Did you have something? Sure? Okay. All right. Finally, at this time, I'd like to invite you to join me in taking a deep breath and centering yourself as we prepare to pray our opening prayer today, which is printed on your handout and will be shared on our screen. So take a breath or two to help transition to this acknowledgement and prayer. All right. So before we pray, I'd like to take a moment to recognize that as a Jesus-centered spiritual community, we at Haven have our roots in a Christian tradition which throughout history has caused harm in many ways that have not reflected the loving heart of God. One way we hope to participate in naming and healing this harm is through the practice of land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that as many of us gather here in person, we are gathered on the ancestral homeland of the Ohlone people. Most of us are settlers of this land, whether we came here by our own choice or another's, living in a place that was stolen and colonized by settlers before us. This land acknowledgement is a simple way of showing our respect, our care, and making a small effort towards addressing the injustices that have erased Indigenous peoples' history. We honor the Ohlone people who came before us and cared for this land and who are still part of this community today. And we seek to take actions that repair those harms going forward. Now, will you join me in praying our opening prayer together? So this is on the handout. I think it's on a slide as well from Joe. And this is something we love to do together as a community. So as I start to read, you're welcome to read along with me, please, out loud. It's a way of connecting and just hearing each other as we make this prayer as one community. Creative, loving God, we come into your presence as a community seeking safety, deeper spirituality, and a sense of home. We thank you that you are the God who calls each of us wherever you would come and includes us fully in your community. In this community, we seek equal space for every race, every ethnicity, every gender, and every orientation. Let us make room here for rich and poor, ability and disability, left and right, belief and doubt. In a world that labels and divides, help us live together in acceptance and unity, finding you in the midst of all we do. Amen. Thank you, everyone. And again, welcome to Haven. At this time, I'd like to welcome up Jeannie to lead our teaching for Haven Kids.
Thank you, Josh. We have a couple kiddos this morning. Would you mind coming on up? Thank you. We haven't seen you all summer, so welcome back. If you want to hang out down here, that'd be awesome. I have a question for you, but before I ask you to answer, I want you to think about it, okay? First of all, summer's almost done. I know. In fact, the next time we meet on the 21st in person, some of you will probably be at school already. Do you know when you start school? On what? When? The 17th. Yeah. So both of you, the next time we come back, you'll be started at school. And for those of you who still have summer, enjoy. But for those, what grade are you guys going to be in? 5th and 6th. Oh my gosh. I'm teaching 6th grade math. So if you need any help, let me know. So exciting. I'm excited for your school year this year. When you get back to school, or maybe even just today because you haven't been here for a bit, people are going to ask you this question. How was your summer? Right? Don't answer it. Or they might ask you, what did you do over summer break? And all the floods of summer come running through your mind if you think about what you do this summer or how was summer. And it's easy to just say, oh, it was fun. Or you might just list, I went here, 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 here. But here's the thing. When you're asked this question and you get the opportunity to practice, what I call storytelling. I say practice because when you're asked how your summer and how you did, you can either give a list or you could tell a really good story. In the Hebrew tradition, how we have our Bible today, they told stories. And they told stories because they didn't have iPhones and the internet and all that. And so the stories went from one generation to another generation to another generation. And I don't know if anything super exciting happened to you this summer that you'll remember it to tell your kids, and their kids will tell their kids, etc., down on and on. But regardless, I want you to think about your summer, and I want you to think about to answer it in this way. Think about something that made your summer special, that event, or that activity, or something you might have done, or a trip. What made it so special? How did that experience make you feel? I know feeling words, huh? And what did you learn about yourself or God from that experience? Would you like to share? You don't have to. Oh, of course, Junior does. Come on up, Junior. Come tell me. Oh, you want to share right there? Okay, with those parameters, what made it special? How did that experience make you feel? And what did you learn about yourself or God from that experience?
Like how the experience? Okay, so when me and my family went down to San Diego, we had a beach day, and me, my brother, and my cousin found this little lake. And we kind of like built like little walls to try to disconnect stuff. And like an hour through, we realized there was a sign that said this water could make you have an illness. So we were like, oh my God, we should get out right now. So we went to the ocean and we were like, okay, let's wash off. And we were like kind of scared, but I don't think we really have an illness. I think we're fine. But like, now I'm prepared for next time.
What did you learn about yourself from that experience?
That I need to be more careful and watch out for signs, because playing in a small river might not be the best idea.
I don't know if you noticed, that was an excellent storyteller, right? She gave us suspense. She gave us little like, oh my gosh. So thank you, Gwen, for sharing that. You don't want to share, Lotus? You have one? Awesome.
I didn't really do much over the summer because I had softball and stuff, but a few days ago, I decided that I wanted to start a little company, and I started to make bracelets for my friends and stuff. And I got my stuff in the mail, and I started making stuff for my friends, and it was really fun, and eventually I started actually being able to make a little bit of money from it. And I feel like that's the type of thing that I would tell people, because that's the first time I've actually been able to do something kind of like by myself and make something out of it and have a lot of fun. And what I learned about myself from that was that I can actually do stuff and I don't have to have help all the time, and that I can like make my own kind of like ideas and just make some stuff that I can just like make really fun things with my friends from just my own ideas.
I think there's an organization called Girls Crushing It, and I think you're crushing it. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that story of what you've learned, and another great storyteller. And I encourage you, when you get back to school and those people will ask, how was your summer? Think of good, I just think of a good story. And you guys did that this morning, an awesome, awesome story. And continue to share those stories, because I think the way we continue to share stories, we share from each other, one another. It shows what God is doing in our lives, how we are growing and learning and just, becoming more of who we are. So thank you, too, for sharing this morning. This morning, my daughter Lindsay's here, and she's going to take you on out to hang out with. Although Lotus is taller than Lindsay now. What? All right, thank you. We back up to one announcement.
Sorry. Hey, briefly, I'm thinking about starting a once a month Bible study for the high school students. But then if you're excited about that, you can be part of it too. So I want to check in with you high school age students, about if you're interested in something like that. It's like a hangout space, not super serious Bible study, but that's it. That's my announcement. Sorry.
Thank you, Sylvia. And I asked the high schoolers to stay with us this morning, since I'll be in here. Hopefully next time I could take you on out for hanging out and hearing stories. Trying to get my notes. All right. Today, we are excited to have Leah back. Leah is our senior pastor. She's been on a 12-week sabbatical. And so it's really awesome to have her back. As we thought about what would be the best way to have Leah step back into community, we thought about crafting a gathering that might look a little different than we usually have. We wanted to take make space where we could connect and reconnect, maybe through a different form this morning. So that's what we're going to do this morning. So, but also understand that even though the form might be different, that learning can still take place. As an educator, I get to teach math, and I don't teach math the way I learned it. I literally just put a problem on the board, and then they get to do it. And so there's so many different ways to engage in learning. And so this morning we're going to do a little bit different experience. We won't have a spoken teaching word, but we'll have time to interact with each other and reflect and share back of what our summer was like. The structure this morning will be this introduction here. Leah will come up and share a few words, and then I will lead us through an activity, and we'll do a time of sharing out to the community, and then we'll transition to our worship time. So that's kind of what we have planned this morning. So I invite Leah back up to the mic. We missed you.
Thank you. I missed you guys too. So it's good to be back. It's good to be in this space again. For those of you who are new, I know you're like, okay, well, I don't know any of these people anyway, so welcome. And for those of you who are online, I know we have like a COVID outbreak and some other illnesses, so sending you virtual love, and we look forward to reconnecting in person soon. So I'm not going to share very much. I just wanted to share one little anecdote from my time. I was away for 12 weeks, completely unplugged from the Haven reality. It was a lot of things I did not learn about what has happened until I kind of stepped back into the work this week. And it has been fun catching up and hearing kind of some of what's been going on. And I look forward to more of that. But I'll tell you one little story. I took about a month in a personal retreat to actually the same place. If you listened to Aiden's teaching 2 weeks ago, which I caught up on this week, the same New Camaldi Hermitage in Big Sur, the same retreat center I went to in the beginning of June. And similar to Aiden's story, I had about almost 3 days there, 2 nights. completely silent retreats other than chanting with the monks, which was a new experience for me. But I took a hike one of those days, and in the midst of the hike, I recognized like I was feeling this kind of like probably self-imposed burden to like have this significant experience with God that would like be the, you know, vision, help give me like vision to bring back to Haven for like where we go from here, right? I kind of had this sense of like, I'm supposed to have something like that. And can I have that? Will I have that? Feeling this like pressure to like, how can I make that happen? That feels like completely counter to it actually happening. And then as I was hiking and kind of thinking and praying about that, I just had this sense like kind of settle in my spirit that felt like if the divine is saying anything to me, it's actually this, which is, Leah, that's not your job. And that's not what this time is about. Because your community is holding this space. Your community is making Haven happen for these 12 weeks, which is why you're here. And your community is now the place where God speaks. Your community is the receiver of revelation, and your community is the one that knows what it needs and what it feels called to in the season to come. And your job right now is to heal, to recover, to allow yourself to be restored and reconnected to the divine, to yourself, to your family, so that when you come back, you can hear them, you can listen, and then you can serve in helping that dream, whatever they feel called to, come to pass. And so that's the space that I feel like I'm coming in with, is a desire to hear you, to listen, to be present, not to kind of bring the, here we go. So if that was what you were hoping for, sorry to disappoint. But I actually feel like what has been happening here and the deposits that have been made that you might not even recognize are significant over the last 12 weeks and that will continue to be made in each of you and the people who are not with us today but are part of this community and the people who are online, all of it. That is the space of kind of the divine presence and the vision for what this community is going to become. And my hope for my own growth process as a leader is that I can get out of the way and I can hear you and I can be a part of helping that, whatever that is, come to life. So I'm excited to hear from you. In this space and in other spaces as we go forward. And I look forward to kind of discerning together what comes next. So that's all I got for now.
Thank you, Leah. Like I said, I didn't want to bring a teaching this morning, nor put that burden upon Leah. But I wanted to take a moment to do an activity with you all, a moment to kind of touch base with the question I asked the kids: how was your summer? What was your summer like? And I put questions in the email this week, and I also, it's in the pink handout. And the questions are: what have you learned about yourself and our community? Where have you experienced liberating spirituality, and how has God been present for you this summer? This summer we had 4 speakers, 4 individual speakers in Leah's absence. We had 2 awesome community connection Sundays. One was a quilt memorial, the other was a hangout in Golden Gate Park. And then last weekend we had a wonderful camp experience. And so what I did was I placed pictures on the tables of all those experiences. And so I want us to take about 5 minutes to go around and look at those pictures and reflect about the summer. And for the online folk, I made a slide deck for y'all to see the same pictures that the people in person are looking at. And as you look at those pictures, hopefully it will remind you of some of the experiences we've had. And I also know that people here in this space, you're thinking, well, I didn't do any of those experiences. I want you to look at those pictures and tell me what you see in them. Tell me what you notice about the community as you look at some of those pictures. You're welcome to use the space of the paper to write any reflection you want, and or not. And then after that, we'll take a minute to share back. But I also want to say that even if you weren't here, what was your summer like? Where in your summer did you experience growth? Maybe even liberating spirituality? Because I could think of a couple places for myself outside of the Haven experience where I've had an opportunity to experience growth. And so I believe God and the divine works more than just in this space and in our community. He works through each one of you, or she works through each one of you outside of this space. So I encourage you to use this time. We'll take about 5 minutes to do that. Well, let's do till 11:20, and they'll give us about 15 minutes to share back. So go ahead and take a look at those pictures. If you've been on those trips and people around you who hadn't, you're welcome to share some of those experiences too. But take time to answer those questions. What have you learned about yourself and your community? Where have you experienced liberating spirituality? And how has God been present during our summer? And then those online, did we say we're going to do it in the chat? Yeah, so those online, if you're reflecting on the slide deck, you could put your reflections in the chat. All right, let's go do that for about 10 minutes. All right, if you had a chance to look at those pictures, awesome. If you could go ahead and find a seat. I don't mean to stop our connecting time, but we'll definitely have more connecting time when we have our lunch. But what I wanted to do this morning, instead of doing small group discussion, I wanted us to take time as a community together, one for Leah to hear some of the things that we might have learned through our summer. So as we come back to our seats, I want to open up a time of sharing some of our reflections. This is an opportunity for Leah to hear what you have learned and experienced through this Haven summer. As you share, please be mindful of the space. Let's see. So if you share, I don't know. I don't want to cut you off and give you like 10 minutes each, but try and keep your share to about a minute, I think. But those of you online, we're going to try and share that way too. How are we doing that? Cool. So if you're online, let Joe know via chat if you want to do that, and then we'll project your voice through this microphone. Like I said, I know not all of y'all went on the Haven retreats or the camping trip or the community Sundays. And some of you may have experienced Haven apart from some of those things through different activities or ways we might have connected with each other. So I just want to give each of you an opportunity. If you'd like to share what were my questions, what have you learned about yourself and our community? Where have you experienced liberating spirituality this summer, or how has God been present for you during the summer? If anybody wants to respond to any of those, that'd be great. And if the kids could be storytellers, y'all could be storytellers. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, please come. Oh, that's another thing. Thanks, Elliot. Because we're recording and the people could hear, if you could come up to the microphone. What the heck? He grew a little.
Pretty short. Okay, so something I did this summer is this thing called Stanford Jazz Workshop. It's pretty much drive up all the way to Stanford. I know I'm kind of betraying you guys a little bit, but and they have like a crap ton of mentors that are pro musicians. Like some are Grammy nominees. It's pretty crazy. I actually got a Grammy nominee to give me a piano lesson, so that was sick. And so, well, the thing about it is, the jazz workshop starts at 9 a.m. and goes all the way till 5 p.m. And then 7:30 to 9:30 is a professional mentor, like pro, like concert that we get free attendance to because we're in the jazz workshop. And then 10 to 12 a.m. is more of a jam session. And also 5 to 6 is a regular jam session. Not the 10 to 12 is just for mentors. The point is, you're surrounded by a lot of music. And like anytime you're not directly playing or getting lectured to about music theory, you've had like 40 names of famous musicians. That's your homework to listen to. So pretty much it was about like 9 a.m. to 12 a.m. constant music. And I'm amazed I didn't get burnt out, but it was just kind of like an interesting experience of like you get so surrounded by something. It feels like, I don't know, this is kind of the most soul-like Jesus thing I've experienced. Just like your like entire being is like so much more into it, and you get like so much more of a deeper understanding of what you're playing. And so yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, that's my story.
Thank you for sharing that, Elliot. That's amazing.
Hey guys. So the question was, what have you learned about yourself in our community? I learned that I'm not alone in this community. That we really drive, a lot of us drive from a lot of different places, and I've been at churches where if you don't live really close by, it's hard to connect with people. It's hard to get together or to really know them, but I haven't found that to be true here. So we went through significant loss at the beginning of the summer that impacted 3 generations, just really devastating. And from the moment I found out, the first people that I called to be able to talk this out with was someone from Haven. And I was trapped in an airport trying to deal with terrible news and crying. And I couldn't talk to strangers, and we're going through security and all these other things. But I knew as soon as I got to a safe place, I could call somebody. And I called Ginny. And so that was just amazing that you guys are at my fingertips, and that we don't always have to be in close proximity, that we're really close in the heart. And I felt God was just letting me know that I have spiritual companions on this journey, and they're going to be with me through the good stuff and the bad stuff. And then God just, what is liberating in my spirituality? So weird. During this last time, I spent a lot of time on the internet looking at people that had similar stories to our loss, and just trying to get a handle on it. Like, how does this impact the family? How is this gonna all turn out? Is there anybody telling me how this is all gonna end? And I found, it was just a weird place to find it. I found a Catholic prayer. Catholics have prayers for everything. Anything under the sun, but they had a prayer for this specific loss. And it quoted Lamentations that God's goodness doesn't end. There's not an end to it. It's infinite. And so his mercies are new every morning comes from that song, but that it wasn't over. This wasn't the only, this good thing that happened that got taken away. That's how I put it. But this good thing that happened, that wasn't the end of all the good things. And so that really, I don't know, it gave me a way to look at loss a little differently. That there's more good coming. This isn't the end. So anyway, it's good to be part of this community. I knew it, but now I really know it. So thank you. Thank you, Chris.
I can share a couple things. Oh, no, I left my questions. Anyway, I'll just share. It became present to me over the summer. As people know, Connie and I are part of the Thursday night prayer group, and we've prayed over the last, I don't know, 2-3 years together, for especially for each other and the needs of the people in this community, and over the last, I don't know, 6 months or something, I've just seen prayers, especially for my son, finally being answered. And so that just feels really good. I mean, I'm just very grateful to Connie and the rest of the people in the prayer group for praying so faithfully for so long for my family. And it was wonderful to see those prayers answered. And it's also fun to see other people's prayers answered. And what I also love is in this community, there's the personal prayer, there's the personal relationship with Jesus Christ. And there's also, seeing the bigger picture. So I love that we went as a community to see the AIDS quilt. And we're committing to making a quilt square for Lonnie Frisbee. Correct? And that just feels to me like this very healing act that we can do as Christians. It's healing for me personally because of my own losses that I've had to AIDS, and it feels like it just impacts the bigger conversation in this country. So I'm grateful to be in this community for that.
Well, I have a liberating spirituality story that's actually in two parts, because it has to do with the camping trip, but also with something that happened before the summer. Remember when we went to the beach on that connection Sunday and walked? Well, these two events were really, really special to me. I don't get to do those kind of things anymore because of Jan, my partner. And it's not just because she's disabled and she can't always come. It's also because I am the primary and only caregiver. And that means I have to very carefully shepherd my own energy. I don't, I don't present myself mostly as a person with a hidden disability, but I am. I have been dealing with, what I guess you could call post-viral fatigue. Now they call it long COVID for the people with COVID. I sometimes want to tell people, yeah, I've had long mono for 40 years because I've been dealing with it that long. And I'm not totally incapacitated by it, but, if I go over the edge, I need to rest. And that means really rest. I can't do that when I'm caregiving with Jan, because if something needs to be done for her, I have to do it. So I have to be careful not to get myself close to that edge. So I don't do much hiking or many of these things. But when we had this community event, I felt okay about going to the beach and trying a hike that I would never try, because I knew that there were strong people and that if I had to rest, I could say, I can't do this. Can 2 people please carry me back to the car? And because that, I did it and found out that I had more energy than I thought. And it was like this amazing breakthrough. Fast forward to the camping trip. I decided we were going to try the boat ride. Okay? This is something I would never try on my own. Have you seen one of those ramps? Can you imagine taking a wheelchair on that, the amount of energy? Thanks to Kim, thanks to Chris and Deirdre who were there. They took care of the impossible part, getting Jan and her chair onto that boat. Jan's father was a ship's captain with Matson Navigation. She loves, and she's a swimmer. I mean, she loves the water. She loves being on the water. We hadn't been able to do anything like that in ages. And then to my surprise, she wanted to stay for the campfire after that night. Well, yesterday, as she was in the middle of getting herself something to eat, which she also hasn't been well enough to do in a number of months, but was now, she turned to me and said, Con, did we go on a boat ride? And I said, yeah, do you remember? We went on the Haven camping trip. And she said, were there kids there and they were roasting marshmallows and giving them to everybody to eat? And I said, yes, there sure were. And she said, oh, that's so good. It was so good, I thought that maybe it was just a dream. So that's my current definition of liberating spirituality.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Connie. Thank you for sharing that, Connie. Amazing. Anybody else have a story for us? Anybody online? You want to share? Oh, you're all being shy. I'll share a little bit my experience over her summer. The beginning part of Leah's sabbatical, I didn't know if I would survive because I was still in school. Holy cow, that was hard, doing school and holding this place together. But what I've learned about the Haven community over summer is it's a beautiful, beautiful space of people who have so many gifts and talents and beautiful voices. And I think during the summer, trying to find spaces to allow more voices to be heard, more voices to be used, and talents to use, it just blew me away. I think of all the speakers. Sylvia, thank you for speaking and sharing your story. And I know you're like, well, people heard it before. We didn't hear all of it, so we really appreciate hearing that story. And of course, Deborah always brings so much wisdom and knowledge. I thank you for being patient with us as you teach us along the way, and it was amazing. If you haven't heard that one, go back and listen to that one. Salvation through reparations. And she was so excited about all that she wanted to share that she and I recorded a little interview thingy for extra, so listen to that one too. And then Phoebe and Melanie offering to do the Community Sunday, and that was just lovely that I didn't have to plan it. They planned it. And of course, Kim doing so much for the camping trip. But the camping trip, I think, was amazing to watch everybody come together and do their part and pitch in and bring stuff and just be community together. And so what I guess, oh, and then I don't know if y'all know, but I actually had created a support team for me. I called it support team, that we met once a week in the summer from 7:30 to 8:30 every Tuesday night via Zoom. And I thank everybody who was part of that, because that is a big commitment. But it was also a time for me to hear from the community and the amazing ideas that y'all have, and just the sustaining place that was for me. And I hope to continue to have more spaces where voices in the community can be heard as we build what Haven can be in the future. I'm trying to think what else I've learned about Haven. Liberating spirituality part happens daily. When I spoke about liberating spirituality, and it was from Cole Arthur Riley's, she said, liberating spirituality is the story you tell. So continue to tell your stories, continue to tell what God is doing in your life, and even if it is a jazz band thing, that is amazing. I love that. I made a curriculum for the youth, tap in. So I love that you tapped in that way, Elliot, to music, and let that just touch your heart and your soul as you got to opportunity to do that. And I too enjoyed the kids at camp. The last night we had a campfire. I don't know if the adults noticed, but the kids served us. The kids went around to each adult and said, "Can I make you a marshmallow? Can I make you a marshmallow? Can I make you a marshmallow?" Probably because their parents said no more marshmallows for them, but they still wanted to cook them. But still, the idea that they had the other thing that was really fun was they sat around and told us jokes. So to be able to create a space for children, for kids to just feel safe to be little comedians and serve adults, that just blew me away. That blew me away, and that was such an awesome time. And I hope as we continue like Leah said, as things from this summer keeps revealing itself over and over again of who we are and who we are becoming. And as Leah steps back into leadership and leads us and listens to us, and we continue to keep growing as Haven, that God will meet us, that God will use each one of us to grow this vision of what Haven is. And I don't think Leah said this, but I'll say it's in the email. She actually made a little calendar spot. If you want to have time to connect with Leah, to check in with her, check that spot right there, and you can make an appointment with her. Because we want to honor that as you come back, your time, that we don't hog it all, but that we can help you to use your time better too, and be accountable to that. So yeah, if you have a moment and want to check in with Leah individually to tell her what God's been doing in your life, please do that with the email calendar. I'll leave it up. Anybody else have one more word before we go into worship?
Yeah, I just wanted to reflect back a little and name. Thank you, Jeannie, for naming that. I am trying to be, and I'll talk about this more in weeks to come, as I come back into this space. I feel like a desire to be intentional about potentially holding my work a bit differently than I have in the past. I recognize that there were habits that were formed. I mean, when it was 8 years ago when we moved here and started this little project in our living room, and I had a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old, and an 8-year-old at the time. And so there was certainly like habits that were established of like, let me pray for people while I'm wiping someone's butt and giving someone else a snack. And that in some ways worked. I think it kind of needed to work, but we're not in that season anymore. And I think there is capacity for me to do a better job for myself, for my family, of kind of letting Haven time be Haven time and family time or personal time be that. And I want to work really hard at that as they come back in, because I can't communicate. I don't have the words, how powerful a gift it was to have this space to truly tune out for a season from work and to be able to just be fully present to myself and to, those in my household in a way that I don't think I really have ever since we've started this. And I didn't identify how much I needed it until it was happening. And so I'm truly, truly so grateful to all of you for all of the ways that you made that happen. And I hope that I personally want to learn from this experience in a powerful way that allows me to be a better leader and more fully present to you all when I am, and also fully present to myself and my family when I'm not on. And so that's some work I'm going to be working on in the weeks to come. And one little way of that is I am working on scheduling my work time differently, a lot less evening work probably, and being more intentional about I'm not going to respond to anything going. Mondays really will be a pretty protected Sabbath time for me. And so you may find, like in the past, you might have texted me at 10 at night and I wrote it back at 10:02 and I probably won't do that anymore. And that doesn't mean that I'm not available, and I will be responding to you, as soon as I'm back on the clock kind of thing. But I'm going to be working hard not to be quite so just all meshed together. So I would love to meet with each and every one of you if you want to. I have a calendar. It has time slots that do work for me right now. And if any of them don't work for you, then reach out to me and we'll see if we can find something that works. But I am trying to be intentional about that. So you can find the link in the email. You can find it on the website, on the contact page. And I would love to find a time to connect. And I just thank you again for the gift of holding this space. I'm going to find this quote, but I read in Cole Arthur Riley, I keep saying that, and I haven't gone back to find it yet, but she talks about in that Cole Arthur Riley book, This Here Flesh, about belonging being, you belong to a community when it can hold not just your presence, but your absence, right? That you have the capacity to be able to manage your presence and your absence and know that you are still welcome and that your absence, that your presence is held even when you are not there. Does that make sense? And if that is true, and I think there is some wisdom to that, I don't think I've ever been able to experience what I've been trying to offer all of you in this Haven community in terms of belonging in the way that I have now experienced it for myself. And so I'm grateful. I can't express how grateful I am to have known this whole time. I didn't know what was happening, but I could trust that y'all had it and that there would be space for me to come back to. And that was really powerful. So thank you.
If the worship team come on up and we'll transition into worship. I asked Kat to pick the worship set, and if you notice, most of them are Leah's songs, so another way to celebrate Leah.
That's what happens when you ask me. It's all Leah's.
Sorrow feels deeper than an ocean, and hope further away than mountains peak. When fear creeps in and clouds my heart's devotion, my hands are tied, your hand I must seek. It's your hand I must seek. And from the edge of the cliff I call to you. From the last thread of my rope I call to you. In the face of the floods I call to you. Though I have not the words, I call to you. For I believe you when you say you're here with me. I believe you when you say you're here with me. You do not walk away. You never turn your face. I will rest in you because you're here with me. When sorrow feels deeper than an ocean, and hope further away than mountains peak. When fear creeps in and clouds my heart's devotion, my hands are tied in your hand I must seek. It's your hand I must seek. And from the edge of the cliff I call to you. From the last thread of my rope I call to you. And in the face of the floods I call to you. Though I have not the words, I call to you. For I believe you when you say you're here with me. I believe you when you say you're here with me. You do not walk away. turn your face. I will trust in you because you're here with me. You do not walk away. You never turn your face. You hold me tightly in your hand. You do not walk away. You do not walk away. You never turn your face. You hold me tightly in your hands. You do not walk away. For I believe you when you say you're here with me. I believe you when you say you're here with me. You do not walk away. You never turn your face. I will rest in you because you're here with me. I will trust in you because you're here with me. From my slumber, oh God, take these shaking hands and hold them still. Wake me up from my slumber, oh God, lift my eyes to yours, where my help comes from. Over and over again, your love and your mercy begin. No matter how far, you find me where I am. Oh, 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 oh. When my fears chase my failures, oh God. Oh, when heaven's glow seems so far, wake me up to your glory, oh God. Draw my eyes to yours, where my help comes from. And I'll find you over and over again. Your love and your mercy begin. No matter how far, you'll find me where I am. Over and over again, your love and your mercy begin. No matter how far, you'll find me where I am. Oh, in my suffering and in my weakness, and when from you I ran, you find me in the darkest sin, where I'm there again. You find me, you find me in my suffering and in my weakness, and when from you I ran, you find me in the darkest sin, when I'm there again. You find me, you find me over and over again. Your love and your mercy begin. No matter how far, me up to your glory, oh God. Lift my eyes to yours, where my help comes from.
All right. So now, will you join me in remembering Jesus' invitation to us all? On the night that he was betrayed, after the supper, or during, Jesus took bread. After giving thanks, he broke it, said, "This is my body, broken for you. When you eat it, remember me." In the same way, after supper, he took the cup and said, "This is the new covenant in my blood, poured out for you. As often as you drink it, remember me." Therefore, as often as we eat the bread and drink the cup, we proclaim the Lord's death until he comes again. Jesus invited his followers to experience his love for them in this way. And so today and every time we meet as Haven, we invite each other and our communities and our world to experience that same love. During this next psalm, if you're here present with us, you're invited to go back and take the elements. We are still on COVID protocols, so it's not going to look like this. It's these little guys. There's ones with a GF on the top that says gluten-free, just so to make clear that for everybody. And if you're at home watching online, or if you're listening to this later online, we encourage you to partake with whatever elements you have on hand. And if you don't have elements on hand, we invite Jesus and we praise Jesus to be with you just the same. Let us pray. Jesus, thank you for the way that you have demonstrated the love of God for each of us and for all of us by offering your very own self. We remember you. We honor you this day. May your Spirit fill us as we eat this bread and drink this cup. And nourished by that Spirit, may we also embody love to each other, to our communities, and to our world, to everything and everyone around us. Thank you. Amen and amen.
Questions are swirling, my mind keeps unfurling them all before me. Clothed in the mystery of faith and of history, I call you toward me. You feel real, but just beyond my reach. I'm lost in the longing you teach me to ask and to seek, so I stand here pleading. Tell me the story again. I need to hear the beginning, the end. Won't you tell me the story again of love and divinity, clothed in a friend? Oh, tell me the story anew. Remind me the ways that you're weaving our sorrows in something more lovely and true. Tell me the story, help me to see once more you. The eyes you have opened, the hearts you've emboldened. I do remember the moments of stirring, when the spirit is whirring, tender hope is fragile, but somehow I know there's more than I see here, and so to whom else I go, for I've heard your words, and tell me the story again. I need to hear the beginning, and won't you tell me the story again of love and divinity, clothed in a friend. Oh, tell me the story anew. Remind me the ways that you're weaving our sorrow, something more lovely and true. Tell me the story, help me to see once more you. Help me to see you. Help me to see you. Open up my eyes to you. Open up my eyes to you. Help me, help me, help me see you. Help me, help me, help me see you. You feel real, but just beyond my reach. I'm lost in the longing you teach me to ask and to seek, so I stand here pleading. Tell me the story again. I need to hear the beginning and the end. Won't you tell me the story again of love and divinity, clothed in a friend? Oh, tell me the story anew. Remind me the ways that you're weaving our sorrow, something more lovely and true. Tell me the story, help me to see once more you. Tell me the story, help me to see once more you.
Before I lead us in benediction, I would like to invite a couple of women up for a special moment here. Chris and Deborah, would you please come?
And Jeannie. So on behalf of our community and the board members, we would like to thank you, Jeannie, for all your work during the sabbatical and everything you did to keep us on track, and all the little things that nobody knows that you did. Because it's all those little things that add up to really important stuff. But we couldn't have done this without all your efforts this summer. It was a lot, and we appreciate you.
So my last name is Small, and what I know is that enormous things often come in small packages. And Jeannie is like such an enormous gift to our community. Who you are, how you show up, all the spaces that you hold for us, for children, for adults, for love, for growth, for learning. And you've always been that. But this period enabled us to see it even more clearly. And so I really want to thank you for that. I don't know that, people who are bees often don't get acknowledged, even when they're producing the most beautiful honey. So I just want to thank you for the beautiful honey that you've produced for us and how much we love you.
Thank you.
No, thank you. So thank you, Don.
And then we have a card that was signed by people either online or in person. If you haven't got a chance to sign the card, I'm sure Jeannie would allow you to do that still. So we really thank you, Jeannie.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh.
Do you mind if I pray for you? And I invite you all to join me in that spirit. Divine One, we are so grateful for this sister, this friend, this special leader in our community. I know personally, I've just been so enriched by the gift of her partnership and friendship, and that this time would not have been possible without her willingness to step in and lead. And so I just sense your divine heart saying, well done, good and faithful servant. You have stepped in and gone above and beyond, and we see it as your community, and we say thank you, and we honor you. And I just ask, oh God, for that sense of everything that Jeannie has imparted, that she'd receive back. We pray for a really good vacation week for her this week, well deserved, sweet time with her family, and that her soul would be fed in these coming weeks. Amen. Thank you. All right, friends, may God bless you and keep you. May God make God's face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May God lift up the countenance of the divine on each and every one of you and give you peace. Amen, friends.